Nice one. Hey gang, it's Wednesday right around 1. I'm Dawn, your host and teacher here at Real Simple Cooking School, and today we have a very special guest, the one and only Justin Chappel, our corporate brother.
Yes, next door neighbor.
Over at Food and Wine, and today we're celebrating the release of Justin's brand new book, Just Cook It. Really, really, truly, huge congratulations.
Thank you.
It's an amazing book. It's gorgeous. I just wanted you guys to see, this is the copy that I got, and this is only, these are like the real tabs that I tabbed as I was like, I'm gonna make this, smashed chickpea salad lettuce wraps. Sorry, I don't wanna lose my tabs, so I couldn't really show you.
I'm surprised.
We'll come back to that.
You said you had some tabbed and then you had like 10 tabs.
I'm not kidding. Venus sesame marinated broccoli, couscous paella, all just really creative, really delicious things to eat. And none of them are super complicated. They're gorgeous. Today, we're gonna make cauliflower fried rice.
We are, because you said you haven't done cauliflower fried rice yet.
I haven't done it, and I've actually never made cauliflower rice. We've talked about it a lot. So Justin's gonna show us how to make cauliflower rice. And then we're going to use it in this cauliflower fried rice on page 134. Guys, remember, just cook it, get it everywhere books are sold. This is what we're gonna make today, this cauliflower fried rice. Before Justin takes us through it, let's quickly review the rules.
Oh, please, I've only heard these rules one other time, when I was in here when you were filming.
Okay, so first rule is we wash our hands, which we've both
Good rule,
done.
it's a very good rule.
Just basic. And second and more important rule is we play nice. Please stay chill in the chat. If you don't have anything nice to say, you are now dismissed. This is a constructive teaching kitchen, and we aim to keep it that way, okay? So let's keep it positive. Let's do some learning. Let's do some cooking. Let's do it.
Can I steal the chill in the chat for my show?
Yes, and I already stole it.
Oh, you did?
So it's like it's like third hands-on.
Okay.
Thanks to Scott
So then it's not
Rogowski.
stealing, it's just borrowing.
It's like nearly part of the public domain. So, okay, we're both gonna leave the books open.
Yes.
I've talked about this before with you guys, but when you write recipes professionally, as soon as it hits the page, it like leaves your brain forever and ever. So we're both gonna use this to cheat.
Yes.
But this came from inside Justin's brain, heart and soul. Let's do it.
Let's do it, yeah. And it's so funny because so many people, you know, when people started getting my book, they were like, oh, well, what's your favorite recipe? And like, do you remember this and you remember that? And I was like, there are 145 recipes in that book. I developed them over a year ago. It's really hard to remember. Okay, so we are making cauliflower rice.
Yeah.
Rice with quotes because it's not actually rice. But one of the first things, I have what I think you call a hot tip.
Hot tip, we're calling it a hot tip.
We're calling it a hot tip. So people buy cauliflower, obviously it looks like this, you take it out of the packaging. It has all the little leaves on it, the stem, you just peel all this off and compost it. So we, fortunately, have a really nice compost system here in our offices. But the hot tip is actually...
this is a good one to show.
Yes. So you see here, it's a little slightly darker. People think this is dirty. It's actually not dirty. It's just, I think you can call it bruising.
Bruising, like oxidized, you know, like the cauliflower is not coming from your backyard. So dings and nicks happen along the way.
From getting tossed into a little dolly or whatever.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid of these. But if you are afraid of these, the hot tip is you could take a little microplane like this and you could just kind of clean it up a little bit. Just clean it up just a tiny bit. There you go.
It's like hair and makeup. Just like a little, you just want to like even it out.
But I suggest not worrying about them at all.
Yeah. Okay, so Justin told me there's there's a few ways to make the cauliflower rice. We're gonna show you two, maybe
yes.
three. So your preferred way.
Right, so in my book, I actually teach you how to do it using a box grater. If you don't know what a box grater is, I will show it to you here. It's like the most multi-purpose grater. I think everybody has one of these. They're so super old school, but I love them. This is the way I teach you how to make the rice in the book, just because I don't want, you know, one of the things throughout the book that I pay attention to is not using too much for lack of a better term, fancy equipment.
Yeah.
So I just want to show you that you can make the cauliflower rice using the box grater. And what you do is you just take your big florets and you grate it. It's that simple.
And Justin was showing me before, you don't want to like grate with a long stroke, but you just do kind of like short stroke like this. So then you get, you know, these bits and pieces that really look like rice.
Yeah.
So that's one way to do it, especially like Justin said, if you have a food processor, great. We're going to show you how to do that in a second. Like small kitchens, you don't always have room for several appliances and you have to kind of pick and choose, food processor, blender, whatever you use most. I will put in a vote for the food processor. I think you can do more in a food processor than you can do in a blender.
Definitely.
That's my opinion. You agree?
Definitely.
Okay, great.
I feel like anything that you can do in a blender, you could also do in a food processor, but not everything you can do in a food processor can be done in a blender.
It's like how all khakis are chinos, but not all chinos are khaki.
Oh my God. Somebody write that down. Can somebody write that down, please?
I stole that one also. It's from a very old Mad About You. But
is it really?
Remember that show?
Oh my God, I love Mad About You. I think they're reviving it. Aren't they? Kelsey, didn't you tell me they're redoing? Okay, so they're bringing back Mad About You.
But it really put things into perspective for me.
Okay, so the other way, so obviously Dawn is making it using the box grater. The other way you can do it is using a food processor. So I just cut the cauliflower into florets. You can sometimes buy it in florets like this if you want to save some time. I like to buy the whole thing actually because you could see here you cut out the core.
Yeah, so should I avoid this? And
I would avoid it for the cauliflower rice just because it has a lot more water in it.
Okay.
But
Good.
I actually like to eat the core and the stems. What I do is I just trim it up and then I thinly slice it and you just do a quick saute in a skillet. It's really good.
Really
Yeah.
smart.
Or throw it in a frittata because anything works in a frittata. Okay, this is a really powerful food processor, so it's gonna go really quick. But basically you just put all your cauliflower into the food processor and then you put the lid on and you just pulse it. It's really simple.
And one of the things Justin was saying was one of the benefits of the food processor is you'll get a more even
grind. Yeah.
So you guys can see like this is working, but I do have some
Phil, you want to look in here really quick?
different size pieces.
See?
Yeah. So you know, different.
Yeah, these are more like
slightly
shreddy.
preferable.
So you could probably stop because we're gonna use this one.
But you guys get the idea.
Yeah.
No less delicious. This would be.
No.
But you get the idea.
And I'm gonna take out the little blade here. Be careful with these blades. They're very sharp.
We can combine in here maybe.
Yeah. And you could kind of see, I'll show you here. It just looks like rice, but it's cauliflower. That's why we put the quotes around it.
And apparently, you can also buy cauliflower rice frozen. Somebody told me. Have you used it?
I haven't used the frozen one, but you can also buy it fresh in like the veggie area. Yeah.
So the little head note in Justin's recipe talks about zoodles. You guys know about the spiralized craze. So similar, I would say look for the cauliflower rice next to the spiralized vegetables at your Wegmans or similarly well-stocked grocer.
That is, yes. And if you're having trouble finding it, sometimes it's in a bag, but other times it's in, I don't think we have any right here, but the quarts, like the quart containers.
Cool, yeah.
Here, I'll let you do this.
Speaking of quarts, Brooke, drop the link to that piece about my favorite storage containers from last week.
Did you write about them?
I did.
Oh my God, that's so smart.
How many eggs?
Is someone from Food and Wine watching? We should syndicate that.
Thanks, Justin.
Okay, so we're gonna do 4 eggs because, and I'll start prepping some of the other ingredients. So it's a kind of simple recipe, and really because much like any fried rice, you can really put anything you want into it. In this case, we're definitely gonna put some eggs in it because I love eggs in my fried rice. So we're gonna make an omelet with that, but then also we have some other ingredients here. We have some aromatics and we have some other vegetables that we're just gonna prep up. I'm just gonna move this cauliflower over here so we have a little more space to work.
And then,
so we need 4 garlic cloves minced.
do you want these beaten?
Beaten, yes. I'm like kind of all over the place, everyone. I totally forgot how to make this recipe which is why I have this beautiful book sitting in front of me, and Dawn has it in front of her.
Those of you who are just joining us, we're here with Justin Chappel. friend of Food and Wine, friend of ours from Food and Wine, and we're talking about his great new book called Just Cook It. So we're cooking the cauliflower fried rice from the book. We've grated up some cauliflower. I'm beating some eggs.
You're beating some eggs. And for a recipe like this, the reason why we kind of have to prep everything before we get cooking is because everything goes really fast once you have all your ingredients ready. So you definitely want to do your mise en place, which means to have all your things in its place, if you're not sure what that term means.
And this is sort of, you know, we talk a lot about inactive time. This is, a fried rice style preparation is kind of like the opposite of that. You really do want to get everything together first because there's no inactive time. You're cooking, you're adding, you're cooking, you're adding, you're eating.
Yes.
So,
and then especially for cauliflower rice, you want to eat it right away because you want to eat it while it's hot. So Dawn is gonna, she beat the eggs. She's gonna mince some garlic, 4 cloves of garlic. I am julienning some carrot. So julienne just means to cut into matchsticks, is what the easiest way to kind of describe it. And for carrots, I have a really simple way of doing that. It's not my technique. I've definitely picked it up along the way, working in restaurants, developing recipes for years, watching people do it. But you take a carrot, this is kind of a large carrot, and you just cut it at an angle into kind of thin-ish slices. They don't have to be even, perfectly even. And then once you have them in these kind of thin slices, you stack them up on your cutting board, and you just cut them into these matchsticks.
This is one of those times where a sharp knife is your good friend.
Definitely.
So if you haven't sharpened your knife recently or ever, now's the time to do it. Lots of, you know, specialty food stores will offer knife sharpening. If you live in the New York area in Brooklyn, there's a guy, Mike, who has a truck who drives around and will sharpen your knives for you.
Hey, Mike, I hope you're watching.
It's amazing. So you've got some options.
I have friends who live out in New Jersey, and I was over there visiting them, and their knives needed some sharpening. So I said, you should actually take these to get professionally sharpened. And they were like, oh, Cost Plus World Market does it.
Good to know.
Yeah, so from what I hear. So if you're a Cost Plus World Market fan, please call your local store and ask them if they sharpen knives.
But truly, you know, people say it a lot, but it's really true. A sharp knife is safer than a dull knife. You have way more control, and it will help you get faster. You know, I know that knife skills and chopping are one of the things that slow a lot of people down. A lot of that is because your knife sucks.
Yes, it's so true.
To put it bluntly. So go ahead and get it sharpened. And if you do a lot of cooking, like get it sharpened often. I would say minimum every 6 months, because I mean, that's
look at
minimum.
all these little matchsticks of carrot. To Dawn's point, it would have taken me twice as long to do this if my knife wasn't sharp. And it's actually, and you've touched on this, but it's much safer to use a sharp knife. People think, oh my gosh, it's a sharp knife, I'm gonna cut myself. But actually, you're more likely to cut yourself using a dull knife because you're having to put more effort into it.
Question.
Is it true what they say that your knives really go dull when you're washing in the dishwasher?
What am I looking for?
Question was, do your knives really go dull in the dishwasher? I'm gonna say yes. I can't tell you why exactly. My feeling is like the more things in the dishwasher are going like this, blah, 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 blah. So this sharp edge is constantly getting beat up. I don't wash any of my knives in the dishwasher. I hand wash all of them. Also, I think safer. You don't want to grab, you know, stick your hand in the dishwasher. Things flip around, blade could be sticking up. I just think it's much safer and better for your knives to hand wash.
Definitely. And
it's annoying, but it's true.
If you have knives that have wooden handles, the wood gets destroyed when it's exposed to water for a long period of time. The wood can get ruined. So don't do that.
Okay, I got garlic. You're on ginger. What else can I do?
I'm doing some ginger, which as you can see, I like to peel it with a spoon. It's one of my, I call it a mad genius tip, but everyone does it nowadays, right?
But very smart. Because you guys see, you can get in all the nooks and crannies and you don't lose
as much
any chunks.
Yeah.
Any of those little nubbins.
The little nubbins of ginger.
Should I scallion this?
Yes.
Should I slice these scallions?
Yeah, I think, what is it? How many? 4?
4.
The recipe says 4.
We have a lot.
We have too many.
I'm gonna do 5 because that's what I grabbed.
And I'm gonna mince some ginger while you do that.
Okay. I'm gonna bring this back over for some
Oh my gosh,
compost.
yes. I'm sorry, I got rid of the compost bowl. And I mince my ginger I follow kind of the same process that I do with the carrots. I slice it into thin slices, then I slice it into the matchsticks as I did with the carrots. And you can these are actually really great to use just like this.
Uh-huh.
Because you can saute these and they get a little crispy, but then they're a little chewy and really delicious. But for this, I'm gonna mince it just because I wanna add a ton more flavor. So then I turn the matchsticks and mince it. It's that easy.
Do these need to be separated at all, or are they all going in together?
I think they're gonna all go in together.
Okay.
They will. They all
So
go
guys,
together.
here's a hot tip. You know how often in recipes we'll say like white and light green parts separated, or white and light green parts and dark green parts separated? Usually that's just because we want to leverage the green parts for garnish.
Yes.
And we want it to look like the picture. So don't like freak out when it says that in a recipe. That's just what we mean. If you forget and throw it all in, it's totally fine.
Yeah. Some people say, I'm curious what you think about this, Dawn,
Yeah.
but so I've actually tested recipes from chefs before where they want to use the white and green separately because they cook one and they don't like to cook the other. And so some people say that the green part is actually more potent than the white part. But what do you think? Because I feel like it's the opposite.
I feel like it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Because it's like the raw onion bulb part, and then I feel like the tops are more like a chive.
Yes.
However,
And they could stand in for chive, the green
Yes.
part. Yeah.
use them in place of chives.
Okay, so what else do we got here?
Just
I
trying to
think
keep it
we're
not
like
fussy.
ready.
We're kind of, so, okay, we have our cauliflower shredded.
Yeah.
We have our eggs beaten. We have, oh wait, red onion finely chopped.
Oh yeah. You want me to start making this omelet while you do the red onion?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the recipe calls for a small red onion. He's fairly medium, so we're gonna use half.
Yes. And then just wrap it, the other half in plastic, put it in the refrigerator.
It waits for you.
It hangs out for your next frittata or soup, or sometimes when I have like a half
Salad.
an onion left, I'll add it to something even if the recipe doesn't call for it.
Great
Just
tip.
to use it up. So
Pickle it.
yeah, pickle it.
Thank
I have
you.
a really great recipe in my book. I'm gonna show it to you. So if we had more time on Real Simple Cooking School, I would teach you how to make my quick pickled red onion.
We can do it. You can come back. They look great. What do you do with them? We could
You
probably
literally
make it right
just
now.
do 3/4 cup. You just add salt, sugar, and distilled vinegar to the onion, and that's it. Literally, and then you shake it in a jar. So I
And
put
then
it in
how
a
long
jar.
will it keep?
It'll keep for weeks, really, because the vinegar really prevents there from being any kind of
Yuckies.
bacteria, yuckies. Okay, so I'm gonna add some canola oil here. Phil, I'm gonna make an omelet really quick.
Bill,
So-
Natasha, come on over.
So a little bit of canola oil in here. And it's not, I use the term omelet, but it's really just eggs. But you-
Eggs cooked.
Eggs
Eggs
cooked,
cooked.
yeah. But you can scramble these if you want. You can cook, what I would say for cauliflower rice, for a traditional fried rice, sometimes what you can do is you can actually add the eggs to the rice as you're frying it. But for cauliflower rice, because it cooks so quickly and you don't want to overcook the vegetable, I like to cook the eggs first. That's why I'm doing this. So I'm just gonna add it to the pan.
Would you like a utensil of some kind?
Oh yes, I would love a rubber spatula.
Got it.
Kind of swirl it
Do you
around.
want to dismount?
Oh yes, here, I have a plate here.
Oh, perfect.
I have
See,
a
what's
plate.
nice is Justin's in his home kitchen, so he knows
So I know where
everything
everything's
is.
at in here.
I'm usually just a guest in Justin's kitchen, so.
Oh my gosh, no, you're not. You're
Okay,
here as
check the
much as me.
technique.
Oh yeah, so all I did was kind of swirl it around. I'm not scrambling it. What I want to do is I'm just to help it cook a little bit quicker, I'm gonna pull back the side of the egg. Sometimes recipes try to explain this, and it's a little hard to write.
It's very hard to write.
It's hard to write
Tilting.
how to do this,
So
but
when you see like tilting and letting the egg run under, this is what we're talking
this
about.
is what we're talking about. And I'm not even gonna try to flip this or anything, but you'll see what I'm gonna do. So this is cooking, this is cooking. If I was Jacques Pepin, I would make a whole omelet in 20 seconds, but I'm not. So instead, I am making this.
Justin, where'd the red onion recipe go?
Oh, it's in my condiments section in the back here. somewhere over
He
here.
does know the book like the back of his hand.
There it is,
Here we go.
in the
Okay,
condiments
look,
section.
you guys. I'm gonna make this while Justin makes an
Oh my gosh, are you really?
Yeah, look, I got a jar and
Holy moly.
everything. I'm gonna use your
I
board.
love Real Simple Cooking School. Okay, so if you look here really quick, get a close-up of this really quick, Phil, because I want you guys to see, do you see how the egg is almost 100% set? There is a lot of heat on the top of the egg here, so rather than try to flip it or anything like that, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna fold it over. Normally, I'm not the kind of guy who likes any color on my eggs, but
Okay.
for this, I actually do.
Okay, cool.
So I fold it over, and the residual heat is actually gonna cook the inside of that, of the omelet.
And
So-
interestingly enough, when I was looking at the photo, I said to Justin, I was like, is there tofu in this? He was like, no, it's egg. And I was kind of like, are you sure?
You know, I was gonna dirty this plate, but I'm not gonna dirty it. Instead, I'm gonna find a corner of a cutting board. Is that okay?
Right here, because I moved over to your board.
There you go. I'm just gonna slide it out because we're gonna chop it. We're gonna dice it up.
And what's cool about this technique is you get kind of like this fluffy double-decker
Oops.
egg situation.
I just dropped Dawn's phone.
Oh my gosh.
This is what happens when you're live.
We're doing the dance though. He's on my board. I'm on his.
You're over there. I got your knife. You got my knife. It's crazy.
But look it. This is the other half of that red onion going in a jar. This is
We don't want to waste it.
This is a quart-sized jar. That just means 4 cups, okay? You guys will start to learn the measurements the more you do this. Okay, I got an onion. I want 2 teaspoons of granulated sugar. I'm gonna say like,
Where did we get all this? Did David bring it over?
yeah, David brought it over. I'm gonna say that's a teaspoon.
I was like over there making an omelet,
Yeah.
and they're making pickled onions.
That's a teaspoon. 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. I'm eyeballing it.
Here we go. 1, 2.
Great. And then
I say a teaspoon is like a 4-pinch.
4-finger pinch.
4-finger pinch.
And then we're gonna do 3/4 cups of distilled white vinegar.
Just every day, the kind of stuff that you can clean with.
And I'm gonna also eyeball it. So like 1/4 cup,
Yep.
1/2 cup, 3/4 cup. That feels good, right?
That's great.
And then we're just gonna shake it up.
Yeah. Is there water?
Oh,
There
no,
is
give
a
it-
little bit of water. There's a 1/4 cup of water. So here. 1/4 cup. There.
Good. See, and that's cooking.
That is it. And
Guys-
that's why this is so great, is because it's literally the whole recipe.
That's it.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna have this like yummy salad topper, sandwich topper,
Salad ingredient.
salad ingredient.
Or I think you said salad topper, and then I
But
said
whatever.
salad ingredient. But
So-
what I love is that it gets
This
the
will
color.
turn this.
Yeah.
How long does it take?
This could actually, it'll start to turn pink in like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. So like ready for
Yeah.
dinner for sure.
Ready for dinner for sure. Okay, I need
Okay.
to get this going. Okay, I'm gonna cook.
Back to the stove. We've got the shredded cauliflower. We've got some red onion. We've got garlic. We've got ginger. We've got carrots. We've got scallions.
Yes.
Remember,
And
there's no inactive time once you start cooking. The egg will wait. So, but same thing. He's one of our parts.
I was like, this recipe is so short. It's on the other page. I found it though. I was like, oh my gosh, what? I thought I found a mistake in the recipe. Whew, it scared me. Whenever you are, Dawn wrote a cookbook. She wrote cucumbers. Hopefully you have another book in the works. I don't know. We'll talk offline. But one of the biggest fears when you write a cookbook is finding a mistake after it's been printed. And I had a recent situation where somebody actually, a website, I forget who it was, requested to run one of my recipes. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then they were like, oh, but it's missing an ingredient. And I was like, oh my God, I had heart palpitations. But then I went back to the book and it was correct in the book. So I was like, I don't know how the ingredient went missing by the time it got to them,
Right.
but it did.
But it's
Okay.
more charming. First printing. Okay, so do I need to cut this up?
Yes, so you could cut that up. I'm gonna add some onion to the skillet, so I have a little more canola oil in here.
Non-stick,
Non-stick.
large non-stick skillet.
I
you
like
do
to
it in
use a bigger
regular?
skillet actually
Oh, okay.
than this, but I know that this is probably the size that most people have at home.
And that's like a 12-inch,
Yes.
which I think is what most of you have. And as Justin said before we started, if all of this doesn't fit, don't worry. Like, we're just going to put what fits comfortably. Then we can make it again, or repurpose the stuff for something else. But
Yeah.
don't freak out.
Because like, for example,
have
my
plenty.
sister, I was home recently visiting my family, and my sister, like, her pans, even though it's a 12-inch, wasn't as deep as this one is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was kind of like, it's really hard also as a recipe developer or cookbook author to like try to figure out what most people have at home. And when you're calling for something 12 inch, does it mean it's 1.5 inches high? Does it mean it's 3 inches high? I mean, I don't know. It's all over the place.
So part of this is actually, I mean, one, you guys getting comfortable with your own equipment and learning how to make adjustments. We can only lead you to the stove, and you got to be the boss.
Over to the stove, way over here.
Way over there. Okay, so
I don't even know how long I'm supposed to cook this.
add the onion and cook until just softened.
Okay, that's good. It's about there.
Here's the other thing. It's like Justin's made fried rice, cauliflower fried rice, like so many times. But then when you're asked to make it in front of people, it's like you've never made it before, and you're like, how do I do it?
Yeah.
Like, how did I tell you to do it? And we want to represent the recipe correctly, but also we could close this and make it happen with what's in front of us.
Yeah.
But we get nervous.
Yes, I get very nervous. I don't actually always get nervous on camera, but I feel like I'm trying to recreate something that I created like a year ago, and so it's a little intimidating for me. But, okay, so I got my onion. I added the garlic and the ginger. I just put it all in the same bowl to bring it over here because it doesn't matter because it's all going into the same pan.
Add ginger and garlic and cook, stirring until fragrant, 1 to 2 minutes. And guys, this is one of those things where when you're doing it in real life, you're like, well, how long? Literally till it's fragrant, you will smell it. It will start to smell super delicious. And already I smell the garlic and I smell the ginger.
Yeah.
So you just kind of you want those aromatics to come to life.
I love that you just pointed that out because it reminds me why sometimes I give a range of minutes in a recipe, because sometimes 1 minute, sometimes it gets softened or fragrant a little bit sooner than maybe somebody else's stove, and so offering maybe a range is a little bit better.
Which is another good reminder as recipe readers and users to cook to the indicator. That's why we give it. So we'll say until golden brown, and then we'll hopefully give you a range. We want to get you close, but again, every stove is different, every pan is different, every knob of ginger is different. It might take a little bit less, it might take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh.
Ooh, brand new.
It's brand new sambal. Will you open this for me while I stir this? Oh, I got it.
Okay.
I was hoping you have, do you have nails? No, you don't really have nails.
I don't have nails, so I did get a fresh manicure.
So this is, I'm gonna add a tablespoon, but I'm just gonna shake it in here really quick because I don't have a measuring spoon. But it's a tablespoon of low sodium, a tablespoon of sambal, which
my favorite.
It's literally one of my favorite ingredients. It's a secret weapon. Sometimes the classic sambal alec is just chili paste, straight up chilies, ground into a paste. So there's a version that you can get that has garlic. I really like that one too.
Same thing, stirred into steamed vegetables, mixed with a little melted butter, and toss on noodles with soy sauce.
Will you
Yes, I will.
use some limes?
Yes, separately.
I brought a little thingamajigger.
This
Here
thing?
it is.
No.
I don't know if you like to use this. I love to use these. Okay. I need a 1/4 cup of lime juice.
Here.
Yeah.
Quick shout out.
Or 3 tablespoons.
Quick shout out about this tiny measure. Love him. Really nice for cocktail making or to work alongside his big brother here. Okay, this citrus juicer.
Love it.
Indispensable. Again, if you're making a lot of margaritas, it sounds like I drink way more than I do, but you get a lot more juice using one of these than you do just using your hand.
Can I point out a mistake I just made?
Yes. We love
I'm suffering through it.
mistakes.
Because we're live, and I forgot, I just left this hanging out on the side of the stove, and now the handle, even though it's silicone, it's really hot. Don't do that.
Guys, be careful. Stop grabbing hot things.
Yes. So I added the cauliflower here, the cauliflower rice, in quotes, and all you're doing is sauteing it until it's hot. That's literally it. You're not trying to really cook the cauliflower until it's tender. You're not trying to steam it. You're really just stir frying it until it's hot because you still want it to have that toothsome texture to it.
Can I use this plate?
Yes.
Question.
Oh my gosh, this is ready basically. Do we have any questions?
Yeah. So, quick question about a couple of our users have made this frozen cauliflower rice dishes.
Yeah.
With frozen cauliflower.
Yeah.
And they cook the cauliflower before they add it into their stir fry.
Oh, interesting.
I would recommend not doing that.
Agree.
Will you repeat the question for our users?
Yes. So the question was, Some people use the frozen cauliflower and they cook it before they add it to the skillet, right? I would not recommend doing that for this because you want the cauliflower to still have that crisp, tender texture. You don't want it to be mushy. And there's a couple ways that it can become mushy. One, you overcook it. So if you cooked it before stir frying it, that's a problem. But also, if you add too much moisture or too much salt, it's going to draw out the moisture. The salt will draw out the moisture, and then it'll steam too much. And you want to cook over this high heat because any moisture that is starting to kind of leach out of the cauliflower will evaporate quickly. And I can already tell this is like, I need to hurry up because I am talking too much. But so in here we have a tablespoon of low sodium soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, and then of course the tablespoon of sambal. I'll give it a little mix with my spat here. And then I'm going to mix this in, just add it in.
Yummy.
Stir it around.
You guys, you can use tamari if you're GF in place of the low sodium soy sauce. Is that okay that I said that?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you could use whatever you have on hand. Like,
Yeah.
there are no rules.
Soy sauce even.
So we got our egg, we got our scallion. This is what Dawn thought was the tofu.
See how like nice and fluffy those pieces of egg are?
I didn't taste and season, but we'll do that when we come over here. So I'm gonna bring it over here so Phil can get a nice shot of this, Phil.
Here, I got it. I got you.
There
I got you.
There we go. Look at that. That's it.
Yeah. And then wait, cilantro.
Oh, cilantro. Almost forgot the cilantro.
I'm gonna hold back some of it because we will take a nice photo of this and post it later. You want chopped or whole?
Yeah, chopped. Just like a rough chop is really nice. I'm gonna taste it actually. I want to make sure I want Dawn to like it.
Chances are I'm gonna like it, but.
A little bit of salt and a lot of cilantro. I love to shower everything with tons of herbs. It adds like a freshness to it. I didn't mention, but I actually like to use low sodium soy sauce.
Okay.
The only reason for that is because I feel like soy does have a very strong flavor. And it's also very salty, so I like to kind of control the salt better. But that said, I do like traditional soy sauce if I'm making like a kind of a saucy thing.
Yeah.
Because then you get that big bang soy flavor.
I will also say that even though soy sauce is like pretty salty, I think even if you're using regular, it almost always needs a little bit of regular salt.
Almost always, yeah.
It just, like anything else, it kind of wakes up those flavors.
All right,
the
taste it and
flavors
tell
that
me
are
what you
not
think.
just salty.
It's very tangy. It's a lime-packed,
Lime forward.
lime-forward cauliflower rice. Right?
Guys, that was really fast, and we talked a decent amount.
We did.
But that was like 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, this recipe, honestly, like, what do I say here? Total time is 45 minutes. In my book, in Just Cook It, if it says total time, that includes all your prep. And as you saw, most of this recipe was doing your mise en place, was getting your carrots julienne, getting your eggs beaten, all that. So that's it. That's it. It's super healthy. You're skipping the carbs.
Super healthy, super delicious. And I will say, just like a vote for cauliflower rice. We don't like to say any foods are like bad here in RS Cooking School. But sometimes it's nice to just like get some more flavor and fiber in there. And using cauliflower instead of a grain is a great way to do it. Doesn't mean you can't have rice sometimes, but what an amazing option.
Yeah, and it's really fun. But not only that, we added the egg, which is like that extra bang of protein.
So great. Justin, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's like my dream come true, being on RS Cooking School.
And we'll do it again for sure. But guys, go get Justin's book. It's so great. Just Cook It, available everywhere books are sold. Yeah. Check out your local bookstore.
Definitely local bookstores, support them. Support the indie shops out in the world.
But homework this week, do something with cauliflower rice. So grab a head of cauliflower, shred it on a box grater, put it in the food processor, and then put it to work. Anywhere you would use rice. But may we suggest this recipe? It's live on realsimple.com.
Also you can use it like couscous.
Also use like couscous. See?
A little butter.
The options never end. Stay tuned also for Road to the Royals coming up after this. Justin, thanks for being here.
Yay, thank you.
Guys, we'll see you next week.
Bye.